Top of the morning to you, laddies. My name's Reddleman Buck. If this farm looks very familiar, you are right. We have officially brought back the return of the Nebraska Farm Series. This farm has been built probably in total 8 completely separate times, but this one, I believe, has done the most justice and has the most potential out of every single build I've ever done for these things. I am super excited for this series as I got a lot planned and in stored for ideas, how I'm actually going to play it, and what we are just going to be doing in general. We'll kind of go over the farm here. If you guys want to see an in-depth tour of what we have all on the farm, I will be more than happy to do an equipment tour video. But as for right now, according to PDA, because I do have the precision farming in here, as well as a handful of other different mods being GPS, Maize Plus, anhydrous, propane. I mean, I got a lot of different, more in-depth functioning features, but the big thing we at least have to do today, because it is still September, I have in my regular stuff here, for crop-wise, we own a good portion of land kind of spread around the map. A lot of it's kind of the smaller fields, but I also want to kind of have a little bit of a drive. The big thing about this, though, is that the soil types are actually going to be an effective part of this, mainly due to nitrogen. For some reasons that I do not know how, my nitrogen level at the one random field I picked was absolutely perfect. I mean, I did not touch this field. This field was just perfect. So my farm will be, my actual farm house, land, will be the best farm choice that I got. I'll get the best return off of investment right off of the bat. Everything seems to be riding right in about the 5 3/4 to 650 range. So pH-wise, I don't have to do any lime. Everything seems to be doing just fine. Soil type-wise, I'd say a majority of the farm consists of sandy loam and loam, but there are big chunks of like field 11 here and mainly 24 where they are all silty clay. Now this one's down here by the riverbed, like this is a valley right here, so I might need to do some drainage work on that field so it could possibly produce a little bit better of a yieldage because the soil's so tight down there, being tree line on top and then riverbed down there with all the heavy clay. So we'll have to get to that, but what we need to do today to start off of it is I need to get some plowing done, and if I got some time, I'm going to run to the co-op and pick up a load of anhydrous and use the 8345R right behind this in the shed. But I was already out ripping yesterday on field 15 over here, right on the, just basically the fields that surround my house, because that was the fields of canola, and I wanted to make sure everything that I had was basically corn, soybeans, and possibly wheat, give or take what I wanted to do. As for nitrogen levels, the field 11, like I was saying, that one, especially 22, those two are the worst. They have almost no nitrogen in them at all. So what I'm going to do, since it is technically fall, I'm going to shoot that with a round of anhydrous, and those two fields are going to be soybeans, so that way they can help possibly put a little bit more nitrogen back into the soil, and then after that I'll put corn back in there so we can kind of do the crop rotation. The map we're currently on is Green Valley, Nebraska. I'm actually very happy that I chose to do this once again on the Nebraska map. You kind of got to do this with tradition. But this is a lovely, beautiful map. I was doing a little bit of exploring on it the other day, and I finally decided, I'm like, okay, if I'm going to do the Nebraska series, I got to bring it back strong. So this is going to be, like I was saying, I have so many ideas for this series, and I do want to do some more research while doing this. As you guys know, I have helped Grant with all of his, a couple of his past projects, being the tiling project. I helped Spencer out with some of the tree line work, and we also just talk more farm-like nowadays, so I'm trying to take in as much of that information as I can. One thing I'm also going to try and do is talk to some of the old farmers around where I'm at, because they have some stuff where they'll all meet for the morning and coffee, and I can go in there, I can talk to them, I can just learn more about the farming aspect, because as you guys know, one of the worst things to watch somebody do is try to do something and talk like they know what they're doing when they clearly don't. I hate that, and I don't like that about this, because I want to be doing this farming without with actually slightly knowing what I'm doing. Now, of course, I can't get it right because I haven't been engraved and engulfed in the system for however many years, but I'd like to make an effort to actually make it as natural feeling as possible, that I actually do have a little bit of an idea of what I'm doing. But anyway, since we're past that point, if you guys haven't already, please consider... let me rephrase that. Please consider subscribing, liking, sharing, as I won't be able to reach the goal that I wanted to by the end of the year, which was 50,000. But if you guys are more than willing to like and share, get this video going. I want to make 2023 the starting run to the 100,000 mark. But without further ado, we're coming up on the intersection here, I think. Oh, it's the one directly to the left of me. Okay, I thought it was sectioned down, but apparently that's where TSC is right there, where I gotta go pick up the anhydrous as well as DEF. I get my stuff from over there since they kind of help supply that for me. So I would like to get my GPS here fired up with the auto width on this field. I have yet to actually figure this out, but basically what I want to try and do is, this is field 11. I set A. Here we go. We got that set up. What I need to get the offset set a little bit better. So I'm actually going to do this pass first. But in order to get that GPS lined up, I'm actually going to just do a quick pass here on the outside. So for those of you that do not know, I'm actually going to turn that off because I'm not using that right now. So for those of you that are not familiar with the Nebraska Farm Series, it is basically an IRL-based farm off of my uncle's farm down in southern Nebraska, right bordering about 20 minutes from the Kansas state line. Now, I don't know exactly how many acres he farmed, but one thing that I do know is that the farm that I have created, which you guys can see an aerial view of both those right there, is based off of that exact farm. And a majority of the equipment that you guys see on this farm is not exact, but it's what I can remember to the best of my abilities that was on his farm. So we're just going to cross over the road in the most legal way possible. We got to get this little square ready to go. And I think I will end up using the GPS for this one, and then I can just basically come back and just catch those little edges. So for right now, we are going to take this and GPS set up. Boop. Drop the plow, or in this case, the field cultivator, and let's make our way. Once we started, I kind of forgot to reset my money, so that's been fixed now. But old Daryl ended up, when he got to the farm, he took out the mule from the garage, so that's what we ended up getting. We have a nice little Kawasaki mule we just kind of run around the farm with. But we are going to take the 8110 that's in the shed right now, and we're going to go run with that to go get anhydrous. No, actually, I think we're going to use the 8345R because it can go, 30 miles an hour. And it'd probably be the best one to tow that anhydrous tank with. So, we need to get this fired up. Get everything situated. So like I mentioned, this is the other tractor that I got, the 8345R, that does have the GPS on it, Starfire 6000. Even though the 9430 is currently preoccupied with the field cultivator, this thing can pull the anhydrous toolbar that I got. Now we're going to Bulk Supply Square, which basically has TSC right in the center of it, and then it's got anhydrous, propane, the big spot where you could sell the dry corn once that's gone through the dryer. I think lumber also can be sold here, plus the farmer's market usually does pretty well out in this area. It's kind of like right in the center. We will turn right there, and this should be our fill up. I don't know exactly how much I'm going to owe them, because I believe I'm just going to fill this thing up. 763 gallons. Let's see, what do I owe you? That's $4,700 I'll never get back. The tank's full. Let's get back on the road. I think what I'm actually going to do is I'll actually just leave the tank right here at the edge of the field, and I'll just go and grab the toolbar, come back, and I can set up all of the computers once I get back, because that's going to take a little bit, and by that time, old Daryl over there probably end up finishing up. Let's drop that right here. We're going to go grab that toolbar. We got our toolbar. We're going to be heading back to field 11 here, getting back and ready to go. Conveniently, I've already put in the hydraulics, as I actually just put new fittings on those last fall. So this has been very, very nice, since this was a used car when I got it. I've been taking care of it, and things have been doing just fine and dandy. But hopefully what I can do is, with the nitrogen right now, I'm probably applying it a little earlier than I probably should be. Don't necessarily know, but I think this will help because it'll have a lot more time to sit. It'll be able to make itself think about what it's doing. And there's our little tank. All nice and ready to go. I took that ditch completely wrong. My grandpa would have had in the coronary seeing me do that. I just finished the valve connections for the tank to the toolbar. We will get the toolbar unfolded here, get the hydraulics, but while that is doing that, with the soil information that we have, it did not change it with unit convert to pounds per acre. It's still kilograms. So basically what it's at right now is a handful of this field is at 0, and then the other portion is at 20. I do not know what this will do, if my application rate will put it in the hundreds, or if it can get it to a point where maybe it's in that 140 category, 120. We'll have to see what that can do, but since we are pretty much down and ready to go, I'm going to fire up the toolbar. We'll drop. Let's just kind of get an idea of where we are at on these. Current values. Alright, that little pass, let's check and see what that does. Okay, so we actually can put it right at 160. Sweet! Alright, so let's get cooking, because this thing's got a lot of ground to cover. Let's do that. Want this to be is field 11. The 45R. Save 2. Boom. Okay, and there's our path. Nice! So obviously I'll have to come back and fix that, but what I'm also going to have to do here is set my width on the GPS. And nice! We are laying anhydrous. We are going to let the variable feed rate fill that out so we can get to the corner. Turn that off. Wait for this next pass. Oh, shoot. Actually, I should fix that. Hang on. Reset the GPS. Reset the Navi. There we go. Got that recentered. Slower this down, and boom. Get it. Wonder how Daryl's doing over there. I think I might be able to see his cab. Oh, I can kind of see his top half. Yeah, it seems to be he's closing in on that. What I'm probably going to end up doing here is I'll get Daryl over here to start working on the rest of this while I'll go over there and finish the rest of the outsides on that. This field I feel is not going to take too long as I'm actually moving pretty quickly. But let's check our levels on what we're doing. Ooh, alright. This field's doing nice now. I know I'm not going to touch these ones since some of these are actually soybeans, but the ones that are corn, I'm going to put anhydrous on those after I'm done with this season, which will definitely be 22. I know I'm going to do that one. Whichever fields I have right now that are currently corn are probably going to get anhydrous done with them afterwards. So 22, 36, I think... No, 39 I'm not going to touch. I'm going to put soybeans in that one, and that hopefully should bring back some of the nitrogen. 24, I'm going to be interested to see what the yield is on that one, just for the fact that, especially with the soil type, that's going to be interesting to see how almost an entire field of silty clay performs versus a field almost like 6. So for the meantime, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to pop over there to Daryl, and we're going to see what he's at, and I might just swap him places. So we'll stop this. We're going to turn off. Yes. We shall see you guys in a second. So old Daryl wasn't using the GPS, so I ended up having to kick that back on. So I'm a little bit off on my pass over here, but we're going to finish up the rest of this field by doing like these little strips that I did not do because the GPS wasn't in line. But we will get that off. We'll flip this thing back around. Line back up. 3. I actually really like the sounds. This is cool. I'm really liking using this GPS. It's very convenient, it's very handy, but I also can just, now it's like all I have to do is just move my mouse. And I can pan. But like I said, Daryl right now, he is currently over yonder, so let's hope he doesn't get that one as far off as he did this one. But we should be fine. Like, I think this is probably going to be the last pass of this little section. And again, I want to check statistics-wise. This thing likes to save a lot, and I do not mind that in the slightest. But I do want to check my levels to see whether or not... Oh, I actually would have to do this. I want to see whether or not I'm fixing all the plowing issues on this. Okay, there's a little spot there in the middle that I need to go check out, but... yeah, we got the little sides right here, up the middle, and then basically this field is good. I will be doing field 39 here probably sometime tomorrow. These two fields already have soybeans in them. 22 and 24 are going to be my test subjects for basically year in, year out. What I might do for 24 is I might do bean on beans, which is probably a really bad idea, but I just want to see the performance level between the two once this is done. Because I have to lay nitrogen on that one, I believe. No, I don't. So I ended up, when I started doing this pass, I shifted the tractor about 10 yards, or basically the width of the tractor to the right on the pass. So I basically have a little bit of slope coming up on this side of the hill, where I can just get a little bit more crop in, and it's a bit closer to the road, because that's a lot of open grass right there that I pretty much can use. But we will shift the GPS here in just a second once I can kick it off. And there is those two spots in the middle. They are kind of big, so I'm going to end up fixing those. But let's turn GPS off here before we get too far up into our pass. We'll rotate this. And let's shift this to our left. It's lined up where we're at currently. Lined up with my hood ornament. Beautiful. Let's get it. You know, for riding in the rows, this thing's pretty bumpy. We're going to make a quick cross cut on here. But like I mentioned earlier, guys, there is a lot to do. Now, see, this is more logical. We're going across the rows. This is the way this would ride if we were going across the rows at 25 miles an hour. Good Lord, this thing would just be shaking. I can hear the freaking metal clanking from here. So like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, guys, we got about 500 acres worth of land that we got to get ready to go here, whether it's either prepping it for next season or, like next video, we got to get the crop out for the season. And I'll have to get that grain system going on my farm, which I'm so proud of how that thing actually works. But what that comes down to is my two fields that I'm going to be watching this year for their productivity are primarily the 22 and 24 for reasons of this. 22 needs plowed, but also, according to the precision farming, it needs anhydrous. So what I'm hoping I can do on that is I really want to see the turnaround crop. I think this is corn right now as is, so I'm going to do that one as corn on corn, just for the fact that I want to see the yield difference on what that field is projected to pull. But 24 here is all silt clay. It's basically a clay field. I need to get the water out of that field, so I'm going to have to do some drainage work, possibly some tiling. I haven't decided whether or not I'm going to need to do 30-foot spacings or 40-foot spacings, but I don't know, I think I might have to pull an 8-inch main. There's a possibility that I might have to do that as the outlet instead of just doing like a bunch of 4-inch pipe. But we will have to figure that one out on another day because different animal, different beast. This thing should be good done. We don't need this anymore. We can put this back in the shed, at least for the time being. I think this is going to be hooked up to... Oh, what am I going to have this thing on? Turn our GPS off. Get this all off. That's all folded up. I think the next step for this guy is to put him on the disc arrow, which I might get that set up right now. Because Daryl's going to be going back and forth over there. I'll bring my pickup out here so I can go and refill in that tank, because that's going to be another $5,000. But we're going to get this hooked up to the disc harrow, as that's going to be the next step for this. Next video, we're going to be getting ready to go harvesting, so I got to get the combines prepped. As if I do corn first, I'm only going to get the S680 ready to go, since I kind of predict that, especially on some of the fields that I got right now, yielding might be higher, so I'm not going to be able to keep up with 2 combines. As for beans, there's a good chance I might run both the S680 and the 9760, as yielding won't be too high, and I just want to get those out of the ground as fast as possible. And with 1 cart, I believe I can keep up with that, as well as I got 3 to 4 trucks. So statistically wise, we do have the amount of equipment we need to get this job done. We will see you guys back at the farm as we will get this stuff put away. So we will worry about the computer part of that later, but that will probably do it for episode 1 on the Return of the Nebraska series, guys. If you guys do enjoy this one and you do want to see more and just explore more on this series, be sure to smash that like button, subscribe down below. I got a lot more I said I want to do with this, but I didn't really know how to get this thing off the ground besides just one big entrance and go right into some field work. So, like I mentioned, the next video is going to be harvesting, if not getting ready for harvest. So be sure to smash that like button, subscribe down below. If you guys haven't already, also be sure to check out the Boomstick Club for all the up-to-date content from me and the gang. You guys already know who is in it. This is the Rental Man out. Peace.